Yo, what is good? Quick Crypto family and my Coin Factory family. Back again with your daily crypto Casper live stream. Although we will be talking a little bit about Octa and Zbec in this stream today. Starting to diverse out a little bit. Of course, Casper still is my main bag, my strongest conviction bag. But talking about Zbec and Octa for two reasons. One, because Zbec has been getting a lot of attention recently and has done a very, I mean, it's currently down 7%, but has made a very nice rally from the videos I made about it. A nice 20% move, which we'll be talking about in our VIP as well, if not more than that. Also, Octaspace been growing more and more in the Casper community because they have now got a KNS domain, and now apparently Zbec and Octa have partnered together as well. So it's kind of almost coincidental how I start making videos on Zbec and Octa. We talk about more and more, and now somehow Casper's connected to Octa and therefore somewhat connected to Zbec as well. It's a weird one. We'll get into all of that in the stream, but either way, the title still stands. This is going to be a very big week still. We've got a lot to keep a very close eye on. Tomorrow being, of course, Jerome Powell's FOMC meeting. He'll be determining the rate cuts, if there will be any, which is unlikely, but he'll be deciding that. I'm not expecting rate cuts tomorrow, but what I am expecting and hoping for is a dovish stance, meaning that Jerome Powell will speak in such a manner that indicates the likelihood of there being rate cuts in September, the next meeting in September. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Alongside tomorrow, we'll be seeing the Trump's working group on digital assets release their 180-day report. That'll give guidelines on federal policies and whatnot, while also giving guidelines on a US strategic and national stockpile, a reserve. That ought to be quite big. So tomorrow's a big day. Then of course Thursday is the PCE inflation data, a key metric the Fed uses to determine whether they're going to cut rates or not. And then Friday is the reinstating of tariffs. So we've got a big week ahead of us, of course. And then Casper and crypto continue to grow more and more and cooking. We're going to get into exactly why the markets are correcting right now. It's off the back of a recent announcement from Trump, which of course is causing some FUD. But we are seeing some more trade deals being formed, which is reassuring for what is to come and how it's going to continue going forward from August as well. But it does, tomorrow is probably one of the biggest days for crypto we've had in a while, because it just sets the precedent for what we're going to see for the next coming weeks following that as well. As always, if you enjoy the daily content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, and let's get into the pleasantries. Crypto Ghost who wants more first, man, welcome back to the channel. And yes, smash that like button. If you enjoy this daily content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, spread the word about crypto, about Casper, and about more that's coming to this space. Leave with me, second, welcome back, brother. Good to have you in here once again. You too, Nathan, yo to you too. What is good with you? I'm doing okay right now. It's been a bit of a weird day for me, hence also why I am delayed with my typical streaming time once again. But either way, we're here and we're ready to cover some crypto and Casper content. Dimitar, brother, welcome back. Future Crypto Elite is here. Good to have you back again, brother. Hope you're doing very well today. Brett, good evening to you too. Double D, you too as well. And Wing Hong, we moon yet. You know we haven't yet, but soon enough, I'm sure that we will. All the usuals back in the chat once again. Good to have it all here once again. And those who are just tuning in silently, hope you're having a great day so far as well, and look forward to what is to come. So as this video is going to be, or this stream is going to be covering, you know, more than just Casper today. Of course still covering Casper, but more than just Casper. I'm going to do a little bit more of a diverse market breakdown. So we're looking at Bitcoin right now, still holding strong despite the correction in the market right now. Bitcoin is still trading between this period, this zone right now, if I draw the rectangle tool, between here, between the 116k to 120k zone. Bitcoin's still trading between that. So despite the correction in the market right now, Bitcoin is still consolidating at this zone, which is a good sign. Good sign that, again, if it continues in fashion, it will likely make a move up again following that M2 money supply. We should see Bitcoin make a move soon, and of course then crypto would follow in suit, which would be very nice. Right now it's been aligned with a 10-week delay. If I shift that to maybe a 15-week delay to 105 days, you can see right now, again, just line it up properly. It just suggests therefore a move should be coming soon enough, and Bitcoin should make that move up to 125 to 130k, hopefully sometime in August. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Tariffs are perceived as a very uncertain event, potential black swan event, so we may see the market struggle in the early stages of August, maybe throughout August as well, but again, that could change soon enough as well, and Bitcoin following that move up there as well. Either way, looking forward to what's coming to Bitcoin. Ethereum right now still also holding quite strong after making a new local recent high. The last time it reached 4K was back in December 2024, as you can see on the market chart, and then we saw Ethereum surpass 3.8K and even top out at 3.9K just yesterday. So it's making new highs right now. It's currently down 1.25% on the daily time frame, but even then 3.75K is looking very, very strong, and I think again it's prepping for that big move. We have heard from Tom Lee, who's currently trying to create a Ethereum strategic reserve, the same way Michael Saylor's got his MicroStrategy. Tom Lee's got his BitMind. They're largest holders of Ethereum right now, and apparently he's announcing plans to repurchase up to $1 billion of his own stock, which is interesting. But we're seeing Ethereum, institutional interest in Ethereum starting to grow more and more. So I think Ethereum's going to continue rallying again, but it does depend on this week. This week is going to be a very interesting one. Looking at XRP, still holding around its $3.10 zone. Kaspa currently down 2.58% on the daily time frame. It's coming down to 9.4 cents on the daily time frame as well, 9.4 cents. And again, this seems to be another critical level of support. We can see, Kaspa tends to normally hold around this sort of 10 to 9K. We have seen it on a number of occasions where it does seem to dip below to the 9.4, 9.5. If Kaspa can hold this, that's okay. That's reassuring, that's good. If it goes down, then expect a 9 cent Kaspa, which would be, of course no one wants to see that, but 9 cents for me would be another good opportunity to scoop up some more, considering what is coming out next month, being smart contracts, and again, following some more big developments happening in September, with Clarity Act coming out, potential rate cuts as well. It's setting the stage for what is to come, and we are hearing right now and seeing right now that while the price action for Kaspa seems to be a little bit lackluster today, we've got to understand that it just takes a little bit of a push. The buyers have to be a little bit more committed. Over $18 million worth of short positions will end up being liquidated if Kaspa hits just 11 cents. That is 2 cents above right now. So in regard to percentages, from where it's at right now, that means we see Kaspa make a 15-60% rally in value from where it's at right now, and you see $18 million worth of shorts gone. Liquid, and that will likely and potentially cause a short squeeze, meaning you'll see all the traders who just got liquidated start to therefore flip to a long position and start pumping up higher and higher. You'll probably see it get rejected at 12 cents. Typically you see the short traders who are still bearish trying to just up or put margin, try and further hedge their bets, if you will. But a potential catalyst is on the upside very, very soon should these shorts get liquidated, which I think is again on the horizon. I'm again always very, very optimistic and very bullish for Kaspa. Sumi, yep, 3.78. You got your ISO 20022 asset Algorand at 25 cents. HBAR equally at 25 cents, both hovering around the same price right now. You got your Zbec, which is currently at 0.005, and we are talking about it in our VIP. Me and Casper Gob were talking about it, about entry levels for Zbec. I'd mentioned that I wanted to get into it at 0.0035, and as we can see, unfortunately, and I did express that in the community, we just fell short as I went to 0.0035041, so I just failed at filling that position. But once Zbec made that push back up again, I had a feeling that it was making that move, and I said that in the community there earlier today as well. So I did get in, and I ended up getting in at Zbec around 0.0038, around this dip here. And of course right now, not saying that I got a crystal ball or anything, it's not the point here, but the point being is Zbec's one asset I'm talking about a bit more on this channel because I think it at least can make some good gains. I'm not saying I trust it wholeheartedly, but I do think it's making good gains. It's got good connections, good partnerships. Got a 32% move on that right now. It peaked at almost 50, and I think it can continue rallying as well. If you watched the video I made on Zbec on my channel, last week it was, 3 days ago even, you would have seen me talk about some critical levels for Zbec, which we needed to see reached, and where we see likely levels of resistance as well. Draw up the fib retracement right here. You can see in accordance to this with fib retracement right now, we should be seeing some resistance or support around the 4.8. I did also highlight a level of resistance seemingly around this zone here, about 5.2, which it did blow past and come back low again. So I suspect we'll see Zbec probably hold strong around this area over the coming day, provided we don't get any significant or drastic catalyst, that can cause a significant downtrend, if you will. I think Zbec right now is proving itself to be making higher highs. Got the low here, higher lows, and also now making the higher highs as well. So I think Zbec is also in an uptrend. Again, that could easily change, but I think right now it's continuing that uptrend and will likely make that move probably back again to all-time highs off the back of their Algorand partnership, off the back of their recent Octa partnership as well. Octa is not big, but Octa is expanding more so, and that can help Zbec as well. They're building and onboarding more and more blockchains, which is great for their growth. So I think Zbec is, again, an asset, my personal belief, not financial advice, that I am personally hedging into a little bit. Just a small percentile of my capital that I'm willing to lose. If it makes big gains, great. I throw that back into Casper for my true conviction play. And then if you look at Octa right now, is it even going to show up here? Octa USD here, okay. Let me type in Octa USDT actually. See it on MEXC ideally, there you go. So you can see right now at 51 cents right now. It's currently up 3.02%, and that's off the back of their Zbec partnership, I'd like to believe, considering that Zbec is doing quite a lot right now. It does seem to be, again, a very, very low point for Octa right now, seemingly at another critical zone right now. So I think Octa probably has a little bit more time. If I'm looking at it very briefly right now, I can see some zones being formed around here, and equally some zones formed around here, this zone right now. So I think you can look at it as well in regards to your trend lines, again doing some very small elements of TA here. Trend lines being formed here as well. I suggest therefore we may be seeing a breakout coming soon enough. Didn't want to draw it from there, probably draw it from back here as well actually. I might see a definitive move coming very, very soon, but again, time will tell. Time will tell. I think Octa again is definitely undervalued. Will it take off? My sentiment on it. I think right now Octa is a very small asset with small market cap, but it hasn't got many exchange listings, which does make it harder for it to pump significantly. It's got MEXC, it's got CoinX, it's got Gate, it's got PancakeSwap, and it's got Uniswap. It hasn't got many more, so it does lack in exchange listings for Octa. But maybe we'll see it do very well this cycle, especially if they start forming more partnerships with the likes of Kaspa and with the likes of Zbec as well. We'll get into this post though a little bit later on. That's the current market update right now. We are seeing some worrying signs, which is why the markets are correcting right now. Oil is on the rise once again, currently at $69.44 per barrel. So we can see here, oil prices are surging towards $70 a barrel as Trump threatens economic sanctions on Russia. Now, of course, never good news. On the back of that, of course, oil is rising. People are worried about, again, another war breaking out. And that's why the markets are, of course, acting in quite a negative sentiment right now. Again, it's temporary for me. We'll see that change very, very soon. Gold is also holding strong. Stock market, again, nearing all-time highs. All the markets are still holding strong for the time being. It's headline-driven news, and we are still waiting for the big catalyst to come out this week, again, being the FOMC meeting, being the report from the working group, being the PCE inflation data and other macro data, and also then being the tariffs that are going live on August 1st. We've got some tariff updates as well here. Copious letter highlights here. Apparently, Trump says the United States have reached a trade deal with the EU, including the agreement to open up 0% tariffs, EU to buy $750 billion of US energy, EU to purchase vast amounts of US auto, and tariff on automobile to be reduced to 15%. EU is also reportedly set to invest $600 billion in the United States as part of the deal. Again, this has just been articulated and verbally articulated by Trump, so we have to see the official details. So again, it's pretty much just Trump's word right now. We'll see if there's any actual, executive order or any form of, partnership or paper. If there's anything that's actually signed in that regard, like the UK did with Trump previously as well. We know that China and the UK have also agreed to further delay and put another extension on the tariffs, so they got another 90 days as well. And India also expects to finalize a deal with the United States by September or October, and is preparing for possible US tariffs between 20 to 25%. So tariff updates are coming through. They're not necessarily big announcements just yet, nothing that's kind of alleviated any FUD right now, hence why markets are still a little bit worried, and again, off the back of the sanctions that Trump is apparently threatening to Putin. Again, not great for investor sentiment, but again, I think it's just a temporary blip, if you will. I think we'll see it come back stronger in the near future as well. And just seeing more and more TradFi companies, more big institutions starting to scoop up more and more. eToro apparently has now launched tokenized US stocks on Ethereum. So again, that's why I think Ethereum's going to do very, very well. It's getting more adoption. Now, I don't think Ethereum's the long term, of course. We know our sentiment on that. Ethereum's the onboarding platform for blockchain when people actually realize how expensive and incumbent it is and lack of security. The whole works. Not scalable. It's slow. They'll start branching out to the other platforms that are in trough with Ethereum that have got Ethereum tools on it. They can just plug and play their Ethereum stuff onto a better platform, onto a better protocol, a better blockchain, and now open up the space for your XRP ledger with the EVM sidechain, your Zbecs that are also doing stuff with Ethereum as well, your Caspers that have EVM compatibility as well, Zk EVM, and that will therefore, again, I mean, of course, for what we're talking about here, for what we believe in, it will be great for Ethereum to be onboarding all of this and then eventually branch into your Caspers and your other assets as well. In that regard, then, we have got some big Casper updates to get into as well. So yes, we know the short squeeze is incoming, which will be reassuring to see. I do suspect if we do see a short squeeze for Casper around that 11 cents around here, you'll probably see a price rally up to this 12 cents. I think if we do surpass 11 cents, we'll see Casper surpass this high here, going up for therefore to 12 cents and above, and therefore if we do surpass the short squeeze at 11 cents, we may see it make that push above that 13 cents we saw back in May 13th, May 12th, and therefore hopefully continue in the ideology that we have here of higher lows and higher highs being formed, which I think for the most part that pattern it can still be respected right now. You know, you do see small, you look at it here, you see it here, you know, small pullbacks, ABC corrections, you know, the lots, just seeing it happen right now. It could be that little ABC correction, and therefore can make the move again. Equally, again, you could argue that it's just that it is just a wedge pattern forming here. We spoke about it in our VIP as well, actually, about that, and according to our pro trader, we are not so much convinced on the wedge pattern. We're so much, at least not in this sort of time frame, more so convinced on the fundamentals that are affecting the market and hoping that Casper is still showing bullish momentum and going in that uptrend as well. Again, if you want to find out more stuff, VIP available, link down below in the description as well. Now we have got this big post here, this one very insightful that comes from Hans Moog responding to Vijay, and also from Paul Van Sun again. This is why we are here with Casper, why we believe in the project right now. Vijay asked the question, Casper requires layer 2s as well. For me to study, does Casper require layer 2s, why or why not? And Hans says here that Casper does not use layer 2s to increase its scalability, but rather to add features like programmability to its tech stack. So in that short sentence there alone, Casper does not require layer 2s for scalability elements. So it doesn't need it for that function, but for you to be able to, if we didn't have layer 2s, you could in theory build everything on the Casper layer 1, but it would overload the network. That's the reason why layer 2s are still relevant for Casper. You could build your DEXs and your Cassias and your polymarket derivatives and you know, you can build everything on the Casper layer 1 in theory, but it would therefore make the network itself more congested. So by offloading it onto layer 2s that aren't increasing scalability at all, just adding features to it, it is actually a benefit, especially if they do utilize Casper as that native bridge the whole time. When Bitcoin launched, it was mainly about enabling people to exchange funds over the internet, acting as a form of peer-to-peer cash. However, the utility of this use case is somewhat limited, as it directly competes with traditional finance, so your PayPal or your banks, which often offer similar features with a more convenient user experience. There are, of course, downsides to using these kinds of services providers, especially in the context of trust, assumptions, and counterparty risk. But for a large number of people, this seems to be good enough, which limits the adoption of the underlying technology. The moment you add programmability, you massively increase the number of your use cases your technology can handle. For example, being able to buy things with Casper even if the merchant only accepts USD by exchanging your Casper for USD on the fly. These composable DeFi use cases are where DLT really shines, as they allow you to do things that are currently impossible in TradFi, especially in an atomic way. However, supporting these features comes with its own challenges, such as state bloat, and increased computational costs and participating node. So by moving executions off-chain, Casper aims to enable these features without decreasing decentralization, object-plus security, which is very close to the endgame vision of a lot of projects. A lot of projects want to do what Casper trying to do, but because they need the layer 2 to also add to scalability, they also fell kind of at the, well, they fell at the very start, at the very, starting line. Casper has its already its 10 bps, soon to be DagKnight, which will increase speed as well, and then 32 if not 100 bps as well. Scalability is not a problem for Casper, and it shouldn't ever be a problem for Casper either. The layer 2s coming to Casper aren't a necessity, they don't require them, but it will help, again, add features to make things, I guess, more streamlined off-chain for Casper as well, which is good, and that will therefore allow more seamless, interoperable transactions between Casper and your USDs as well. And Paul Van Son, KRI chairman, confirms here this is all true, whereby Casper will eventually act as a fast and secure layer 1 information carrier for the benefit of any information transfer storage used in industrial, financial, commercial, public sector and retail applications. Ultimately, Casper right now is going to become this gas fee for the entire blockchain world. It's kind of how this information carrier, it will be utilized as a liquidity bridge for everything. Now, it doesn't mean that Casper is going to necessarily be used for payments, at least not in the immediate short term or even mid-term, but it's the idea that Casper will be used as a liquidity bridge. So when you're sending your USDs and you're sending your stable coins, you're sending your circles, whatever it may be, or even sending other assets, Casper will be burned, and therefore, not burned, sorry, it will be utilized as a gas fee, transaction fee, and the miners then mine the blocks to receive that Casper. It's a very, very unique business model that Casper has, and it's one that, again, many don't understand, don't even know of Casper. Casper right now sitting at 40 on CMC with 76 million 24-hour trading volume, 2.54 bill market cap. Got some decent exchanges, of course, Gate dominating right now. Mexi's falling off a little bit, which we're not too bothered about. BitGet at 7.74, Bybit at 6.2. And we look at the wallets addresses right now, we can see KRC20 again, seeing a little bit of lackluster today, which is not too surprising. Nacho sitting just short of 16 mil, so Nacho's still cooking for the most part. A lot of us, I think, who, be trading him daily would have seen and heard us talk about Nacho when it was sub 10 mil, saying, of course, do your own research, but it might be a good opportunity considering what they're building right now. Their connections to Zealous, their connections to Casper.com, their connections to Wolfie, and other their connections to Igra Labs, like Nacho, are very ingrained into the critical infrastructure for Casper. So, for me, I think Nacho's a good play. I did get into it sub 10 mil, I did vocalize that when I did. I only hold one other one being Wolfie, and there's not by any means an invitation for you to buy them. I'm not telling you to buy them, do your own research. But I do think Nacho's one that's going to do very, very well. It's still the most popular, by quite a landslide, the most popular KRC in the ecosystem. Next one following that would be Goad, or technically KDAO, although it's not a meme. The most popular meme after Nacho would be Goad at 7,000. It's got 18. It's really not that close. Now, I don't think it's going to be the case for the whole time, but I think Nacho is a strong one. And then you look at the addresses right now again. You can see right now, looking at the addresses, you've got 538.7 thousand addresses. You're seeing your Mexi still not Aquaman anymore, which is interesting. You're seeing some inflows, 2.4 million Casper, so $233,000. Go to wallet 8 here. A little bit of a deep dive you can see right now from Kraken, so this is Kraken's wallet potentially here as well. And just to again prove why we love Casper here so much. 1.5 seconds. 0.001 Casper for 5 million Casper worth of transactions. So $500,000 almost worth of transactions cost less than a cent by quite a margin and only took 1.5 seconds. Now, of course, again, we've got to understand that it won't be the case the whole time. It will fluctuate, You can see as you look through multiple transactions, some of them are below 1 second, some of them are even cheaper than this. It will fluctuate, especially when you get more congestion on the platform, on the protocol. It will definitely go up, but it's still, to my knowledge, no other project in this space that can compete with Casper in regards to speed and costs. Of course, again, they are bigger project most of them than you're trying to compare it to, but even then, Casper has that ability to keep cheap, stay cheap, and also has the ability to let you pay the so-called premium value to get it quicker. There are features that either have been implemented or plan to be implemented. That means if you want to send $1 million, just say in theory, or $1 million Casper, you can choose you want to pay a premium so you get it quicker, so you're paying more for the gas fee, or you want to just continue paying the natural fee, or even pay less. So it's going to take you longer to get the Casper to your from one address to the other, send it off, but it will actually cost cheaper for you to do that. I think that's the options that Kaspa are trying to provide as well. So Kaspa, again, short term, struggling because the whole macro news, macro affecting the market, but for the most part, still got a lot more coming into it, especially when you see the continuous growth of Kaspa and comparison to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin maximalists are starting to actually take more note of it. It's still a massive war, if you will, or disagreement, if you will. I don't think Kaspa maxis are so much trying to cause this disagreement. I'm not saying we're perfect, because some of us are causing the problem as well. But a lot of Bitcoin maximalists are starting to come out and speak more openly about it, because they are just, I guess, perceiving Kaspa as a threat. KRI makes a post here: Kaspa versus Bitcoin maximalism. Why ossified thinking could kill crypto's future. So highlights how Bitcoin sparked a revolution, but revolutions don't stand still. At the Kaspa Industrial Initiative, the KRI, we've watched belief hardened into dogma, especially among Bitcoin maximalists, guided by voices such as Michael Saylor. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists forgot the ethos of Bitcoin. The original white paper for Bitcoin said peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's not even what they say anymore. They don't say that at all anymore. They just say it's the biggest, so therefore it can't die, it's the best. And it's store of value like Michael Saylor does. But that's wrong. That's not what Bitcoin's meant to be there for. While their dedication is real, so are the risks of absolutism. Treating Bitcoin as perfect, which is incorrect, unchangeable, untouchable, may now be the biggest threat to the innovation it once inspired. Crypto is there to inspire and innovate from the monetary system, and Bitcoin maximalists have, most of them I think are actually either just very, very stubborn, or they're new maximalists, those who didn't get in the early inception of Bitcoin, or didn't read up into Bitcoin. They saw, oh, Bitcoin, got it at around 10k, and know it's meant to be this future form of money, I'll just hold on to it. And now you've got 120k, you made it 12x, you don't really care. You're just following the crowd, not understanding that Bitcoin was originally created to be this P2P electronic cash. And it's funny as well, the KR have mentioned in interviews as well that with their projects they want to build, so we're talking the asset mints, the olive chains, the ZTXs, the warp cores, the gigawatts, they have all these projects that have been in work for a decade, a lot of them in a decade. We're working for a while. They tried to do it with Bitcoin. For decentralization, they couldn't do it with Bitcoin, it was too slow. Same with Ethereum before it ended up becoming a proof of stake. Again, didn't work. They're too slow, too incumbent, too expensive. Kaspa's the only asset in existence. The KRI, who have been looking at KRI been looking at crypto for over 12 years, over 10 years, over a decade. And the only asset in existence they think and they believe that can really adhere to and fulfill the goals and requirements for their project, for their institutional clients, which include PwC, which includes Shell, DHL, Eon Energy, Siemens Energy, all these institutional clients, the only asset that can actually attribute to that properly, being decentralized while scalable, is Kaspa. That is a big deal. From belief to blind faith, Bitcoin maxis once served a purpose, shielding the network from obvious scams, but parts of it have curled into dogma. Some maxis treat Bitcoin not as a software but as a scripture, chanting hold of a dear life, like a mantra, and dismissing every alternative as an S-coin. We've been hearing a lot about Kaspa recently as well, which is crazy because Kaspa follows the ethos of Bitcoin. Calling Kaspa an S-coin is the same thing as calling Bitcoin an S-coin. Doesn't make sense. When personalities eclipse principles, innovation stalls, exactly what Satoshi warned against. They're literally going against Satoshi. That's what we need to know. Now, I think Bitcoin maxis are going to start realizing that, hopefully, as they're being more woke or woken up to the Satoshi Nakamoto consensus, the ethos, and realizing that Kaspa is not a threat to them, but trying to fulfill that original vision. Michael Saylor, of course, came in, now become this figurehead effective for Bitcoin right now, who's bought an insurmountable amount of Bitcoin. Insurmountable amount, holding so much right now. And his conviction is undeniable, of course, but he is a businessman. He is not a crypto man, he's a businessman. He saw Bitcoin, saw the opportunity with it to make a lot of money, and he's made a lot of money. He's made a lot, but he is not someone who believes in selling the tech. He might say it, but I don't think he does. I think he just sees it as a money-making opportunity. 2013, he called Bitcoin useless. And now, after the dot-com collapse, it raised billions, he pivoted to Bitcoin in 2020, and he's made a crap ton of money from it. You can see the chart here. Ridiculous, right? You can see all the other companies here as well. Corporate Bitcoin concentrations, top public Bitcoin treasuries as of July 24th, 2025. MicroStrategy up here with 600,000 Bitcoin. The marathon at 50k, and it goes down the list here. They're holding Bitcoin right now. One company holds 12 times more Bitcoin than the nearest peer and more than the next 10 combined. Is less decentralized sound money and more systemic single point of failure. And I'm not trying to necessarily dog Bitcoin, that's not the point here. It's me highlighting again that the maximalism in Bitcoin has shifted from one of the tech, the ethos, Satoshi Nakamoto, to it's so old that it cannot be flipped, which is a warped perception because people say the same about the dollar. And look where the dollar's going right now. It's collapsing. And you're having it being saved to an extent thanks to stablecoins. That's why Trump is so adamant to push the stablecoins out quickly. That's why you got the Genius Act passing through so quickly, because it can to an extent save dollar dominance as a world reserve currency. Because most stablecoins, 99% of stablecoins out there are denominated in the dollar. Kaspa, though, is that evolution, if you will. Parallel blocks, real scale. Kaspa block DAG produces 10 BPS per day, or per second a day, or per second today. It can do that already. So throughput rises by adding edges, not by lengthening a single chain. Fast finality. DagKnight, which is coming out next year likely, reaches a full settlement in under 10 seconds, giving commerce grade speed while keeping full proof of work security and scale with latency, so it can be faster as well. Energy lean K heavy hash, orders of magnitude lower joules per transaction versus latency, SH256 mining, future proofs for optical mining. I'm not a miner, I don't understand the full in-depth of that, but I understand, at least from that paragraph, that it is a better source for mining, so therefore more incentive to mine Kaspa over Bitcoin. Again, like Bitcoin, no pre-mining, no VCs, no ICOs, none of that. It was fair launch, and it's builder friendly. This is all done organically. KRI building Warp Core, Olive Chain ZETEX, Cas Union Asset Mint, Coney, Gigawatt, already building all that sort of stuff as well. This is what we're building with Kaspa right now. So addressing the maxi counter narrative from the KI here. They respect Bitcoin's conservative posture, which I think, yeah, I do hold respect to Bitcoin. People here in this community right now, a lot of us I think still hold Bitcoin. I don't personally hold Bitcoin, truth be told, but I'm sure a lot of us do, and that's fine. I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It is right now the most risk-off crypto. So it's the quote-unquote safest one to hold. When crypto does really, really badly, alts bleed, Bitcoin stays very stagnant because it is risk-averse now. It's becoming more risk-averse. But conservatism is not parallelism. Kaspa does not seek to replace Bitcoin, pivoted store of value narrative. Kaspa's not there to replace Bitcoin's narrative, which is original narrative, it is. But its new narrative of store of value, no. Kaspa's there to attain full proof of work security and attack the breaks Kaspa would stimulate and break Bitcoin. It would be a mean of exchange. Bitcoin perceived as a less centralized network than the leverage bet concentrated by a handful of public companies. You know, and then you've got there's a whole analogy here about, you know, from Ford Model T to EVs, evolution is inevitable. So, and this is again, I think a lot of Bitcoin masters also failing to realize that evolution is a natural part of life. It's inevitable. It is inevitable. Think about just think about the evolution of light, for example. Cavemen, I'm saying cavemen, like I'm going back that far, but originally you'd look at stars in the sky to be able to see, or the moon to be able to see. Then you learn how to make fire, and you used wood, rubbing it together to make a fire. Then you managed to get flint and steel to spark the fire and burn the wood. Then you learn how to make a torch, so you can make portable fire. Then you learn how to, you know, discover oil and these flammable substances that can end up using it to make fire that way. And then you've got electricity. And then you've got solar. Then you've got renewable energy that can help make electricity to make lights as well. It's always evolution. Money's no different. Money went from what? You probably had food back in the day. Food into gold, into your gold and silver and coppers, into then your fiat-backed systems, which was backed by gold, and then shifted to oil, petrodollar, and now you've got crypto, the evolution of that. And just because Bitcoin was made, you know, back in 2008, it's like 17 years old, give or take, doesn't mean it can't be flipped or there's no evolution to it. And I've said it myself, Casper is still a very early project, and there may be something in the future that comes out better than Casper. Now I think it's a bit early, it's only been 3 years, and nothing right now there's been many projects out there who've been claiming to be the next Casper, and all have failed. Every single one has failed to try and compete to Casper. But it does not mean that in the future there won't be a new and better Casper. It does not mean that necessarily. We have no confirmation of that. We don't know. But we've got to understand that we are not, or we should not be die-hard blinded maximalists. We should be those striving for information and learning more, willing to look beyond the curtains, not just stay on our hill. Of course, you make your capital, you make your money, and you can retire off that. You don't really need to care or worry, therefore. But I choose to strive for information and the truth all the time. I'm a maximalist. I do believe in Casper, but again, I'm not a die-hard to the point where I only believe Casper's the best. I do believe the best, but I don't see it as the only way to make money in the future to be. I do see it as the best alternative, but again, you know me, I hold other assets, and I think a lot of us here do as well. I know some of the biggest maxis here who hold meme coins, your turbos, your bonks, because they do see it as a way to flip profit. Some of us hold Zbec, some of us hold XRP, some of us hold SUI. Are they great assets that are going to trustworthy? No, not necessarily. But they can make capital. They can make, a positive ROI. You've got to have your risk tolerance attributed to the asset you're holding. If you think it's not trustworthy like your XRPs, then you don't put too much into it. But if you think XRP is going to make money, but you think it's too risky because all the insiders and the CEOs and co-founders set dumping on your head, don't put too much into it. Not financial advice, once more, of course, you do your own research, but that's what I've done. I knew XRP was risky when I got into it back down at 50 cents when the lawsuit. I got into it back here. Before that initial pump for the lawsuit here, I got into it back here, around here. I knew XRP for a long time, but I was very risk averse to it. But then I thought, you know what? I see the partnerships or alleged partnerships they're building. I've seen their connections and whatnot, and I see this lawsuit right now is seemingly not going to pan out the way of the SEC. And if that does happen, well, you look what happened before the lawsuit, where XRP managed to reach before the lawsuit. Well, that was actually even mid-lawsuit. I'm thinking, okay, well, XRP, therefore, if the lawsuit comes to a conclusion, will end up rallying up quite a lot, and it has done. So, yeah, that's just my perception of money-making opportunities, of course. And then, of course, Casper, for me, being the most future-verse and most innovative asset in this space. How it's trying to fulfill the ether of the Bitcoin, being the evolution of it, and the KRI are going to be a big part to help put it before it. The choice in between Bitcoin and Casper is between standing still versus moving forward. And we've got our messiah, although he's not a messiah, although people do perceive him to be that. He's a man. He's a man who's a very intellectual man. Solinsky. The apparently Satoshi Nakamoto, some people call him that. But he's now going to be sitting down with Vlad to approximately a month apparently to talk about Casper. You can see that here. Been seeing lots of reports about Bitcoin OGs who sell their early 2010s bags to institutions. That's cool, but the question is, what will they buy now? Pretty sure they'll get a nice house, cars, but will they also search for the next Bitcoin? So what is the next Bitcoin? And off the back of that post, he's now just said, "Hi Casper Army, I see you mobilized to apply under my tweet. Now, can you help me get Solinsky on my podcast? Would be fun to learn about proof of work experimentation." And simple response here, noted, DM'd. Solinsky taking the time to approach Vlad, and he's now going to debate and speak about him on the podcast, more about it. And again, it's going to be a very technical one, of course, but Solinsky, it's great to see this stuff again. I don't think there's anybody better better attributed, to speak about Casper than Solinsky. I think everyone has their own way of saying it. Michael Sutton, Coder of Stuff, Shy, Mike Zach, all of them have got a very deep ties to Casper in their own regard, and they can speak a lot on it. Solinsky, of course, one we perceive to be the founder, although he's not the founder. He is one of the people who worked on Casper in the early days with DAG Labs, but he is someone who's now going to be speaking here, which is very, very cool. And you've got to remember as well, you've got people like Nick Szabo, for example, who is the man who created smart contracts. There's an interview of him, which is actually uploaded from Captain Sats. I don't think I'll be able to find it while speaking right now, but I know he reposted it quite frequently. There's an interview with Nick Szabo where he talks about this one here as well, actually. This is him talking about DagKnight protocol. By definition, you can't be faster than. So DagKnight, again, very, very big thing. So in a sense, give me any proof of work system, I can match your proof of work. Again, Solinsky just highlighting once more that DagKnight is the end game for crypto, effectively. But there's an interview, which I'm hoping I'm going to find here, with Nick Szabo, where he confirms that Solinsky and Aviv Zohar, well, he says Aviv Zohar and the man who escapes his name, but he means Solinsky here, they are experts in Bitcoin security, a skill set in scarce supply. I don't think I'm going to find it here, unfortunately. If I do, I'll play. Oh, there it is. So I'll play it right now. You can hear it for yourself.
Zohar was. There is a guy named Aviv Zohar who's written some great papers. One of them is on Ghost, which is what Ethereum is based on. And he's got a follow-up to that whose name escapes me. And he's also co-authored a great paper on attacks against Bitcoin from the underlying network. So he's one of the experts on the security of Bitcoin, which is a skill and knowledge set in scarce supply. So.
And there's not many people that can say that. Nick Szabo is the creator of smart contracts for Ethereum. Nick Szabo is the creator of smart contracts, so he is, again, someone who has got his accolades to him. He's a very, experienced individual, very intellectual, and he's one saying that Aviv Zohar and the man who escaped him, being Solinsky, are experts in Bitcoin security. So when you therefore know you're holding Kaspa, you know, in a sense, therefore, that you're holding someone who knows very deeply the ethos of Bitcoin, knowing what it's about, how it functions, how it works, in its security element being its key factor, its most attractive factor for Bitcoin. Actually, it's probably its only attractive. Well, decentralization and security is attractive factors. So Kaspa's got that while being scalable. That's why, again, safe hands for Kaspa. I'm very, very bullish on this project for what's to come. And I will get into the announcements that some may be waiting for the Octa and Zbec. But before I do, let me get into some questions. It has been 40 minutes of me just straight waffling right now. Welcome, Kryptoni, bro. Hope you're doing very, very well, my man. Jay, guess who won yesterday a ticket to the Berlin meeting in September? I'm guessing it's you, man. Love that stuff, brother. Well done, my man. Hopefully you enjoy the event. Make sure you show us all, or even just show me on Discord, show us all in the Discord server the event. I'm very intrigued. I'm upset I won't be able to attend. I just don't have the ability to do so right now. But I mean, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a very, very good one, brother. Well done to you, my man. With Kaspa, are we in the holding period on 3rd of August for smart contracts? So I'm guessing you mean regarding to price. Are we just going to wait till smart contracts, therefore? Ultimately, nobody knows. It's a good question, of course. Very good question. The smart contracts come out on the 3rd of August. You can go cas.live and you can see the updated smart contract timeline now, which suggests in 33 days we'll see smart contracts, cashback smart contract deployed on the mainnet. So the question, of course, you being, are we holding period? So I'm guessing therefore you mean the price. Of course, nobody truly knows. I do think macro is going to affect the markets. I do think, not financial advice, that this week's going to be a big one. I'm not expecting the 180-day report from the working group to necessarily do too much, unless they do announce reserve coming next month. That would be big, of course. But I am expecting Jerome Powell to say no rate cuts, but we are looking very, very closely to cutting rates next cycle or next meeting. And that therefore mean if the tariffs that are going to be launching on the Friday do not affect the economy too drastically, and inflation stays quite low, which if you look at true inflation right now as well, which I'll also load up, if inflation stays quite low, of course true inflation is not the metrics they use PCE. But PCE right now I think is at 2.6%. True inflation right now says 2.01. PCE is 2.6, so even then it's still quite low. If it stays that low, then the Fed will have that wiggle room therefore to start issuing rate cuts. So that's why the meeting coming tomorrow is going to be very important, followed by the Thursday PCE data, then followed by the tariffs being launched on the Friday. That will set up how August will plan out. If it ends up being reassuring and bullish, I think August will be a month you see a bit more relief. Bitcoin following that empty supply, going up to 130k, give or take. The SEC might also kind of give some signs to maybe some altcoin cycles if they start finding some ETFs. I know you've got some ETFs deadlines coming out, I think September time, maybe August as well, maybe October as well. So I think, again, I think it depends. This week, I think this week till Friday very much sets the precedent for how August is going to behave. August may be a lackluster month, so you may be right in holding, but then going end of August into September for me is going to be a very bullish month, because we suspect right now in September we will see the passing of the Clarity Act, which is the market structure bill that will give clear guidelines between the SEC and the CFTC, meaning that assets like Casper will be quite clearly a commodity under the CFTC jurisdiction, meaning it will have an easier chance of getting ETF filings, exchange listings, institutional adoption and whatnot, as opposed to the SEC, which is under the SEC, you've got a bit more scrutiny, a bit more close eyes on you. And of course, then also, again, potentially rate cuts in September as well. So we'll have to wait out for this week, is how I'm going to put it down, Jedi. You want it in blockchain banter? Good, big ups, Ghosty, man. Love to hear that, bro. Hope you enjoyed the event. Welcome back, Falco, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. And Double D says here, as I've now lost there it is. I saw a YouTuber who was gradually converting his Bitcoin to Casper. They will calm soon once the cognitive dissonance has stopped. And yes, put simply, yes. Once more and more Bitcoin maximalists, or just even people who are holding Bitcoin, start realizing that once realizing the shape of where Bitcoin's going or where crypto's going, from Bitcoin being a store of value, fine, sure. But when you're trying to look for something that's actually going to be utilized as a medium of exchange, and therefore realize that there's more value to something that's actually being utilized as a payment. Gold is, expensive, it's valuable, right? It's 3,300, but there's a lot more value in, technically speaking, in the dollar. As Kryptonia was highlighting, last stream, or the stream before that, with regard to market cap. Gold market cap compared to dollar's a lot higher, because it's got a medium of exchange value to it. It'd be utilized for a form of payments and a unit of account. So in that regard, therefore, there is more value. If you want to stay true to the ethos of Bitcoin, decentralized and security, then you go to Kaspa. Kaspa today is like Bitcoin $100. I mean, people have been saying that recently as well. I do think Kaspa's very early, I'll agree that much. I manage this cryptocurrency, you may dream sick of it. Over the altcoin crypto rally, I'm on the verge of committing. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. If that's how you feel, I think you need to reach out to somebody and speak to somebody. You're welcome to join my community, and I mean, none of us are here a therapist, I don't think, but we're, help and talk you through whatever. But I think you need to be surrounded by people you love and be with people right now. The cycle's been a hard one. I don't disagree with that. Maybe you have too much in the market as well, for you to feel in this certain emotional state. And I do really feel sorry for how you're feeling right now, and I do sympathise with that. I have had my own share of people close to me who've gone through similar struggles. It's never the right thing to do. Never has, never will be. I do think the altcoin cycle will start making moves in the coming months, especially with the passing of the Clarity Act and with SEC funding ETFs. But yeah, I think you need to reach out to somebody, brother, truly, because nobody wants that. Welcome back, Pygods, bro. CoinShares launched and staked C ETP in Europe by CoinShares.io. I mean, that's good for Say. Of course, I no longer hold that asset anymore, which is a mistake on my behalf, you could argue, but I just, again, don't like the ideology of infinite supply assets. But that could be good for getting more institutional adoption to Say as well. By extending the pause on tariffs between China and US, it kind of confirms to me that we will likely top out in the end of October now. Now there's a great catalyst for a dump too. I mean, maybe, but again, there's no direct confirmation of that, because you've got to think about it as well. In November, so the month after that, the SWIFT system and 91% of all financial institutions will be migrated to ISO 2002 too, which is going to lay the foundation for all banks basically to be able to connect with crypto. So again, we'll have to wait and see. There's no confirmation right now. And if that's the case, therefore, it means we've only got, the end of July, so August, September, October, we've got, 3 months left of pumping? I'm not saying it's not probable, But again, I think it's too early to call right now. If I look at one of my indicators I tend to use, which I haven't used in quite some time actually. Need to load it up right now. Where is it? I'm trying to find it in my community right now. This is CBBI. If you look at the CBBI, I think maybe. Let me just see where it's at right now. Again, it's not a complete, foolproof indicator. It's quite an accurate one. It's called a lot of bull cycles. It's utilizing advanced real-time analytics from 9 metrics. Currently got us 80. So we're currently at 80 right now, meaning that, we normally end up seeing the top when it's in the high 90. When you get to 95, then you start getting a little bit like, okay, pullback expected now. But again, you've got to think about it. It's not confirmed, it's not foolproof, because then look at last cycle. Last cycle we got here, you had 97% CBBI confidence. Then you saw it come down with that black swan, and then it even peaked higher. The price went higher to 67k as opposed to 63k. There's less confidence. So this is a good indicator that I tend to use to help kind of determine where we are in the cycle right now. Will it be October? Will it be 2026? Again, we're early doors still, I think. Still got more time to take a pause and just wait and look and analyse the markets. And if you want to find out more of that sort of stuff, which we do provide a lot of information for institutional documentation as well. The reason why I'm not so convinced about October is because institutional documentation and my alpha information seems to suggest there's the possibility it goes longer. If you want to find out information again, check out the VIP, wop.com/coinfactory. We do private live every single week. Trade alerts. We're starting to ramp up the T-Gen trades as well, which is higher risk, higher reward. We made a 10x and 7x recently with Uranus and just a meme coin. Educational videos and equally alpha information, which institutional documentation, what they're looking at effectively, which is in this particular market very important considering they're getting involved for the first time. So all the information you want to find out for stuff, link down below in the description, also my homepage. And equally, thanks to our working together with BYDFI, exchange of no KYC, no VPN, and regulatory licenses in Canada, the United States, and many more regions. If you sign up to the affiliate, link down below in the description, and check out the link in the Discord server. You can see many benefits. They're currently doing a Bitcoin trading campaign as well, trying to win some free Bitcoin, or win some Bitcoin, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. And you get many benefits as well, like permanent VIP after BYDFI channels, and a 1 month free trial to Coin Factory VIP as well. Everything's available there. If you want to find out more, you can reach out to me on Discord, send me a message, and I'll help you out get set up. Level up the trading game. All links down below in the description as well, and also on my homepage right here. Welcome back, Art Zero Bro, who's doing very, very well, my man. Did a 2x in Qubit coin, since I told you. I mean, that's great stuff, man. Again, it's not even okay. That's the reason why I couldn't see it. So I couldn't see it on. I tried to look through it on CoinMarketCap and yesterday, and I couldn't find it. So Qubit coin is not on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko right now, which is why I couldn't find it. If you made a 2x, brother, then great stuff. Again, I haven't got any qualms with people making money where they want to make it. It's just, of course, be very, very careful. I don't know much about Qubit coin. You say it's fair launch, proof of work, docs team. So, it sounds trustworthy on the surface. I've not looked into it anymore. Those who want to, again, Qubit coin, apparently RZO's made a 2x from yesterday. So, there's definitely, I guess more to be made therefore. Well, this guy doesn't seem to be saying that DagKnight is coming. I don't know, none of us will matter whatsoever. Which guy are you referring to? Maybe I've missed something. I'm not seeing which one you're referring to. I mean, DagKnight is coming. I don't know who said it's not. All the Casper devs are saying it's going to be in the works right now. Another thing is all those things on the layer 2 can just bridge to the native layer 1 when it launches. True. What's up, Greg, bro? Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. Welcome back to the stream, my man. And you too, Khan. Lambo cancelled. Lambo delayed, as always, but soon enough, it'll come back. There you go, exactly, yes. You can mine some as well, and make some gains from that as well. I've been mining, I don't think, opposed to Kaspa, but in the Caesar scam, Qubit seems to be far good from what I've heard so far. Okay, welcome back, Buffalo, bro. You did very, very well. Sorry I'm so late. Hey, I'm also late today, bro, so don't worry about it. Do you own any KRC20? Yes, I do, Rosa. I only own 2 right now. I do plan to diversify more, probably later on in the cycle, but again, we're early doors. I think I still got time. Still no tier 1 listings for new Casper, well, no major tier 1s like Binance or Casper just yet. I hold some Nacho, and I hold some Wolfie here. I hold Nacho and Wolfie right now. I also have a Wolfie NFT. I don't hold anything else just yet. I do plan to. I think my next bet would probably be, it might be Kango or Casper Ghost. Just again, me personally, and not me trying to short the assets. Of course, do your own research. But the 2 I have right now are ones I think have the strongest, you know, conviction, the strongest communities. Even though Wolfie's a much smaller asset, I think Wolfie's got a lot. I mean, it's got a shop in London. They even announced they got a shop building, restaurants building in South Africa as well. So, you know, they're actually building something properly with Wolfie. So that's why I'm also holding them as well, because I think it's got some good use case. Casper is good, but does not better than the dollar. It doesn't have a powerful military in the world to back it. Why does military matter if... Why does the military matter for the money? You do realize the dollar's collapsing right now, Richard. I don't know if you're... I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but the dollar's literally collapsing right now. De-dollarization is happening worldwide. The dollar's not perfect. The dollar's the next in a long line of reserve currencies that's just come out after the last one failed. And the dollar started off being gold-backed, but because they wanted to print more money, and because there was not enough gold, they decided to switch from gold back to petrodollar, and that screwed everything up more so than it already was. It's a broken system. Dollar's not great. Crypto is an evolution of fiat, and Casper is an evolution of crypto. Military or not doesn't really matter. I mean, good to hear. I mean, glad you're making the gains anyways. So yeah, big up, bro. I respect it. I thought Swamp was gonna be on DJ Vlad. That'd have been crazy. I mean, that would have been insane, definitely. Only a man who could walk away from the billions offered to him to ERC2 though could walk away with a wallet like Satoshi. I agree. I don't know. I probably missed the context behind that as well, but I do agree. And yes, buff as crypto goes to his, yes, well, yep, as always, smash that like button. Welcome back, Bingo, bro. You're doing very, very well, bro. Smash that like button indeed if you enjoy the streams. We'll also be there in Berlin, and we'll please, by all means, people send me pictures in the Discord server. Send them to me, because I'm very much excited to see what the event's going to look like. I hope to attend to some of them one day in the future as well. Mr. Miles, welcome back again, bro. You're doing very, very well. SEC making some waves, though. I mean, SEC, if they start filing for, if they start approving ETF filings, then yes, they can make some significant waves, definitely. I mean, yes, you are right, but again, there's no guarantee. We are in a fundamentally different cycle this time round, significantly different. So there's no confirmation of that at all. That's why we've got to be very, very careful, you know. He's obviously trolling. I'm assuming he was as well, you know. Strategy just bought another 21,000 Bitcoin. Crazy. Yeah, still stacking. It's insane. What's your price thoughts before on smart contracts? I don't do publication anymore. I think it'll be higher smart contracts. That's how I leave it, unfortunately. I don't want to do publication anymore because I think it's a bit... I just don't think it's... I mean, those who've been watching for a while, you know I don't do it anymore. You know my reason for not doing it anymore. But I think smart contracts will be a big catalyst for Casper in regards to immediate and even long term as well. That being said, I have not had the time to go through the Octa and Zbec thing here. I'll do a very short summary of it here because I do have to dip off quite quickly as well. Looks like Zbec have 15 blockchains and counting. Zbec Silver and Carbon Cards are now supported by 15 blockchains with Octaspace as the latest addition as well, which is insane. So you can look major chains like Solana, ETH, BNB, Sui, and more, and now Octaspace as well. So Octaspace are actually doing very, very well with their teaming connection to Casper as well, and now Zbec as well. So more and more strategic partnerships. So despite Octaspace's lack of listings from exchanges, they are connected to some very interesting projects. You know, Casper and Zbec are both. I mean, Casper's very undervalued. Casper's a top 40, but still undervalued asset, very small. Zbec's even smaller than that, but it's got connections to your big assets as well, your big governments as well. So Octa's expanding more and more, which is good for the project therefore. So maybe Octaspace is not a bad hedge either. Not bad at all. I'll probably get into this a little more so later on. Maybe even make a video on this as well. I'll wait and see. With that being said, that'll be for today's Casper and Crypto livestream family. If you enjoy the stream, as always, leave a like, share your friends, subscribe for more. Be more locked in with the Discord server and the VIP as well. Also level up your trading game with BYDFI. Link down below in the description, and also my homepage as well. Have a great day, good evening, good night, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care now.